see God in simplicity, or do we demand complicated rituals? Do we misuse church funds, or are we scrupulously honest? Let's look at 2 Kings chapter 5. What happened when a Syrian army commander had a skin disease and wanted to be healed? Did Elisha perform a lot of mumbo-jumbo, or give a simple instruction? Naaman was the commander of the Syrian army. The Lord had helped him and his troops defeat their enemies, so the king of Syria respected Naaman very much. Naaman was a brave soldier, but he had leprosy. One day, while the Syrian troops were raiding Israel, they captured a girl, and she became a servant of Naaman's wife. Sometime later, the girl said, "If your husband Naaman would go to the prophet in Samaria, he'd be cured of his leprosy." When Naaman told the king what the girl had said, the king replied, "Go ahead. I'll give you a letter to take to the king of Israel." Naaman left and took along 30,000 pieces of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 new outfits. He also carried the letter to the king of Israel. It said, "I'm sending my servant Naaman to you. Would you cure him of his leprosy?" When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes in fear and shouted, "That Syrian king believes I can cure this man of leprosy? Does he think I'm God with power over life and death? He must be trying to pick a fight with me." As soon as Elisha the prophet heard what had happened, he sent the Israelite king this message, "Why are you so afraid? Send the man to me, so that he'll know there's a prophet in Israel." Naaman left with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. Elisha sent someone outside to say to him, "Go wash 7 times in the Jordan River. Then you'll be completely cured." Like Naaman, are we insulted by the simplicity of a task that God gives us? Are we in it for the money, or is the blessing of giving enough for us? But Naaman was angry and went away, saying, "Behold, I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call upon the name of the Lord his God, and wave his hand over the place, and cure the leper. Aren't Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be clean?" So he turned and went away in a rage. But his servants came near and said to him, "My father, it's a great word the prophet has spoken to you. Won't you do it? He actually said to you, 'Wash and be clean.'" So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Then he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and he came and stood before him. And he said, "Behold, I know that there's no God in all the earth but in Israel. So accept now a present from your servant." But he said, "As the Lord lives before whom I stand, I'll receive none." And he urged him to take it, but he refused. Then Naaman said, "If not, please let there be given to your servant 2 mule loads of earth. And from now on your servant will not offer burnt offering or sacrifice to any god but the Lord. In this matter may the Lord pardon your servant. When my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, leaning on my arm, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon your servant in this matter." As Elisha bade Naaman farewell, what did Gehazi plot? Do we misappropriate church funds in some way? So he said to him, "Go in peace." After Naaman had traveled a short distance from Elisha, Gehazi, the attendant of Elisha, the man of God, thought, "My master's let this Aramean Naaman off lightly by not accepting from him what he brought. As the Lord lives, I'll run after him and get something from him." So Gehazi pursued Naaman. When Naaman saw someone running after him, he got down from the chariot to meet him and asked, "Is everything all right?" Gehazi said, "It's all right. My master has sent me to say, I've just now discovered that 2 young men from the sons of the prophets have come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them pounds of silver and 2 changes of clothes." But Naaman insisted, "Please accept 150 pounds. He urged Gehazi and then packed 150 pounds of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of clothes. Naaman gave them to 2 of his young men, who carried them ahead of Gehazi. When Gehazi came to the hill, he took the gifts from them and stored them in the house. Then he dismissed the men and they left. Gehazi came and stood by his master. "Where did you go, Gehazi?" Elisha asked him. "Your servant didn't go anywhere," he replied. But Elisha questioned him. "Wasn't my spirit there when the man got down from his chariot to meet you? Is it a time to accept money and clothes, olive orchards and vineyards, sheep and oxen, and male and female slaves? Therefore Naaman's skin disease will cling to you and your descendants forever." So Gehazi went out from his presence diseased, white as snow. Have you ever wondered why the story of corrupt religious leaders is directly followed by the widow's very generous offering? Did she see God beyond human failures? Do we? As he taught, he said, "Beware of the scribes. They like to walk around in long robes, to be greeted in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats in the synagogues and the places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses and say long prayers to cover it up. They'll receive greater condemnation." As Jesus sat facing the offering box, he watched how the crowd was dropping their money into it. Many rich people were dropping in large amounts. Then a destitute widow came and dropped in 2 small copper coins, worth about 1 cent. He called the disciples and told them, "I tell all of you with certainty, this destitute widow has dropped in more than everyone who's contributing to the offering box, because all of them contributed out of their surplus. But out of her poverty, she's given everything she had to live on." Do we see God in simplicity, or do we demand complicated rituals? Do we misuse church funds, or are we scrupulously honest? You decide.